From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. Hey, James, it's great to be back with you. How are you today?
Good, Steve, and yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I think we have a little bit of a hot topic that's really been tossed around a bit the last few years, and I think that if we rewound, we would have different differences of opinion over those years, and that topic is the single brand versus the best in class or the multi product integrated system. For many years when I first started in the industry, we the idea of AV programmer was to make a collection of equipment work together that wasn't necessarily supposed to work together, and that was really a lot of the challenge, and there was a lot of wow factor in that. And then over the years, we kind of came down to a lot more manufacturers getting into different markets and being able to say, well, what if you use all of my equipment, it all works together and you don't have to worry about it. And as we've seen, we're recording in the beginning of 2024, when there are supply chain issues and product shortages, that method doesn't always work, especially if you get tied into a particular product. So where do we stand now from your perspective? Like what makes most sense, and where do you what do you think is in favor?
I'd say what makes the most sense in my world is integration, like where you can use any product, not being tied to one manufacturer. I tell every manufacturer I deal with, I don't have brand loyalty. My goal is to achieve the mission of the university. Um, Whatever we can do to achieve that and making sure that we're innovating education, pushing things out. Um, if the manufactured product works, great. If not, I need to find something that will. And it needs to be able to work with what I currently have. Because I'm a smaller school right now because we're only on a five-story building, but education alone, you're looking at 200 classrooms. If they have to change out a product or something like that, that's a lot. If you like say they were brand Y, and that brand Y could not no longer well, to say brand Y went bankrupt. And now they have to change out 200 classrooms because they can't support them anymore. That's a lot of financial burden on the business. Um, so being able to take any manufacturer and make those equipment work together is key, especially in higher education.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, and I, I mean, personally, I've always been in favor of that because from our perspective, that's what programmers do. That's where we shine, and that's what we do very well. I understood the value of being able to say, if you buy these equipment, in theory, they all work together seamlessly. It's proven, and there's less effort, and I could see that being really appealing, and I could see where there's cost savings, and I could see where their projects are getting done quicker or more efficiently. The But when that stops, that's where you have a problem, and I do feel like it's hard for one manufacturer to be able to serve in every role or every capacity, and address every need. And so eventually you have to go out of that single brand solution, and how does that work, and what does that look like? Because if you're not trained to do that, and that isn't something that's common, it could be a big shock to the system. Whereas if you're commonly integrating different pieces of equipment, and you know what that looks like, and you know what to look for, and know what it takes to do it, it is more likely that you'll be able to adapt when that need inevitably arises, that you're going to have to go out of brand, if you will.
Yeah, and there could be a lot of reasons that you might have to step out of brand. And I can see like this one example I'm going to give you is because manufacturers, if you're in like a all one manufacturer, they got a foothold on you. Especially, like I said, again, I'll use Hyatt as an example, is they got a foothold on you and they know they got a foothold because it's not easy for you to change if you're all one system. So they can start going, okay, our products are now 15% higher cost, 30% higher. And then each year going up and up. Be like, you can't leave us. You're stuck with us. Like, who else you're gonna go to? I've heard that a couple times. Especially if you have a lot of one manufacturer product, they'll be like, oh well, who else are you gonna go to? And if you're not skilled in the programming and the integration side, you're gonna sit there and be like, yep, I'm sorry, okay, I have to take it. But if you're skilled in programming uh integration, be like, no, I'm gonna brand Z or other companies. Because again, you got to do what's best for your business as well, but like they're doing best for theirs. So definitely being a single manufacturer is not wise, but I agree with you. If I can put a classroom together and basically make it as seamless and simple as possible, I can get classrooms done quickly and move on. And then they're also all identical. It means troubleshooting and fixing and repairs are simpler as well. So it's definitely, I can see the benefits of it, but then you also have a lot of cons.
Yeah, I like, unfortunately, what you said is probably a black eye for the industry. Like nobody really wants to hear that, where you have to feel like you're being held hostage. And I know that people have used that term before, and you feel like you can't change, and you're stuck, and that's really unfortunate. The I think the manufacturers have learned in the past year or two to play well with others, and I think that they've realized that having the having a piece of a bigger pie is better than having the full small pie. Let's say it's you can be still be very effective and be very appealing to your clients, and really focus on saying that this is an option. You can go with us and you can build out your single brand, but if you don't want to, and that's where we talk about that whole um, open API, or going outside the walled garden, and it gives you that flexibility to say that the option the choice is yours and how you want to play this. And if you prefer to stay with our brand, that's great. And if you prefer to mix, we can do work with you on that too.
Yeah, and actually, not too long ago, I mean, like within a week or two ago, I had a conversation with a manufacturer, and when I was talking to the rep, they were talking about like their new product line, the whole roadmap and all that stuff. And we got in a conversation and they mentioned how they had another school who was all different brand, didn't have any of their brand, but they were able to had a unique scenario where their brand could help them out. And the rep went back to their boss and was like, well, I got them to do this, even though the campus is an XYZ's house, I am sprinkling our products here and there. And I think that term they use, sprinkling, is very key because it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It could be one piece of gear. And as long as that one piece of gear is working well and doing very beneficial, it allows me as a tech manager to go, well, let me see what else they have. How else could they help me?
And I think it kind of goes back to the business practices too, and kind of plays off of our past episode where you need to be a little bit well-rounded and from a manufacturer's perspective, rather than saying that it needs to be a certain way. I want to help to address your need, and I want to try to earn your trust and build a relationship. I think even if they don't have what may be the best product, maybe they have the easiest to work with product, or maybe there's different aspects that give them an advantage. Maybe it's not the cheapest, but it's better in other areas, and it saves time, which equates to money, or they're just a lot more accommodating. Um, what we found in my company, and in transparency, we work with a lot of manufacturers to help them make their products work together in different platforms. And there's a lot more manufacturers that are looking at overcoming those competitive hurdles where they might not have wanted to play nicely with somebody who is technically a competitor. And now they're saying, I want to be able to tell people that if that's what you want, we will accommodate you and we will help you to get there, even though we understand that we are helping our competitor as well.
You know, I'm actually battling this right now. Um, it it's bad taste when a manufacturer or a company will not work with you. They don't see the value of maybe changing a little bit of their business practice to help out users. And it could, in theory, like if you get too strong as a manufacturer of that, like, oh no, we're not budging, you might actually lose a big project because of it.
And
Uh,
I think, go ahead.
no, I don't say, yeah, I really don't have much more out of that. Just that you could really lose a very big project, and then not only lose that project, but especially if you lose a project in a higher ed environment because of something like that. Everyone knows us higher ed tech managers talk in our back channels. We talk with each other. That gets spread around. So now you could potentially hurt other businesses and other opportunities.
Definitely. Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. And I, I think that being able to balance the competitive landscape has helped a bit there, where we have more options that are out there and presenting themselves and giving being considered rather than only the one or two big ones, or something that where you feel locked in, and you have more options to explore what's right for you, and take into account a lot of different aspects that that company can provide.
100%. And I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a change. And maybe it's just because of my where I'm going in my career path for some, but I'm seeing manufacturers being more open and more willing to work and help out and actually take feedback. Like kind of like you were saying earlier, it was kind of like, well, it's our way or no way. Now it's like, okay, you tell us what you need. We're either going to develop a product that meets your need, or we're going to say who's the better one who can meet that need. It's no longer trying to go, well, we got this box that does 100 million things, and it does that one thing you're looking for, and we're going to shoehorn it in there. It may not be 100%, but at least we're going to shoehorn. It's now more, it's like, okay, you tell us what you need, and we'll either develop it or work with partners to get you what you need.
And a true partnership, somebody will be willing to refer you to their competitor if they think that their competitor is a better fit for what you're
Yep.
looking for. And because that's something that shows that you're confident, and that shows that you really care about the client that you're working with.
100%.
So I think that's a good place for us to wrap this one, but I'm curious to hear what our listeners think, and what the perspectives are here, what the experiences have been, because I think it has been a very 180 over the past few years, where we were going down one road and backtrack to a different direction, and it's been a little bit of back and forth. I'm kind of happy where we stand right now, where there's a little bit more balance, as we discussed, and but I'd like to hear what our listeners think. James, how could people get in touch with you, continue this conversation, and learn what you're up to?
Google me, you'll find me. I'm out there on the platforms X, LinkedIn. X is AV underscore James King. Sunday mornings with hashtag AV in the AM. Anything with HEPMA, higher ed. Again, Google me. I'm out there.
And for me, you can reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media. You can reach my company, Control Concepts, at controlconcepts.net. And like James said, please check out our podcast and reach out to us and let us know what you think. You could find us the video version on YouTube and the audio on your favorite podcast player. We want you to encourage you to leave us a rating or review, reach out with your questions, and let us know if you want to join the conversation. We're open to bring get new guests on the show, and we're glad to answer your questions that you write in. So please reach out to us and let us know what you think, and we'd really like to hear from you. With that, this has been Ask the Programmer.